Features in Arlington. We're getting excited, and I'm really excited that I had time today to drop this video like I promised, because there's nothing I hate worse than waiting on something and then it never shows, or it's a couple of days late. Anyhow, this is most of the YZ250 parts. It's actually going to be a YZ300. I haven't decided just what route I'm going to go with it yet, because as you can see, we have an empty space here, no cylinder. But that's kind of the way I wanted it, because I want to go through the bottom end, just like I did on the 125, take everything apart, take it completely down, blast it, coat it, make it look awesome. So let's move through from the frame of the motor, the wheels, plastics, the swing arm, suspension. We'll go through it from left to right. So the suspension is actually factory connection, supposedly worked on this at some point, but this is off of a 2006 or 2008, not that there's any difference, YZ250F. Luckily, they run the same wheels as the 125 and the 250 for various years, but those ones actually line up. So I'm able to take and use these forks. I may have to have a custom set of clamps made for it, which I'm kind of excited about. I didn't want to just do another stock set of blast and coat and woohoo, that's great. But I've never had a set of X-Trigs, or maybe we'll look at Ride Engineering. But anyhow, so that takes us to the wheels. That is the front wheel off my YZ125. That does not look like that anymore. And if you've been keeping up with the channel, you know that my 2006 YZ125 basically blew up in July of last year. I had about 6 hours on it, and it was time to have the cylinder replated. So I pulled a lot of parts off of it, set them to the side, and just decided when I get to the YZ250 300 build, I'll see what fits, and we'll basically just piece a really cool bike together and have a lot of cool content for the channel. So without getting too terribly off track, the wheels, I'm going to take them apart. I don't think I'm going to salvage the spokes, just because there's so much out there that is aftermarket and a lot heavier duty and unique that you can run with an OEM hub. Now, if you take a close look, you can see that there is rust in there. So I'm probably gonna have to beat that out of there with a hammer, or maybe somehow use the bearing press that's sitting over in the corner there. But I'm gonna use this OEM hub because it's in pretty darn good shape, minus a little bit of corrosion and just neglect from whoever actually used these wheels before I did. So I won't bother messing with the back wheel because it looks about the same. It's right here. I had actually coated those spacers a few months ago for something else, never got around to messing with it. So that leaves us with mainly the frames in 06. I like the 06s. I've ridden a couple of them. I mean, they're the same even today when you roll one off the showroom floor. It's an aluminum frame YZ. The bottom end is an 03, and I'm not sure, but I believe there are components from 99 till current that will fit basically 02 through current. And that's half the fun of the project, and why I decided to do it this way is the YZ250's changed, but they were methodical about the way they changed it, so that maybe not purposely so we could keep building bikes out of parts, but it makes it a lot easier, gives you a lot of different opportunities to make some really cool projects. This is the tank off my 125. I'm not sure where this tank came from. I had it in the garage. It may have been off an 03 that I had done on my Vital MX back before I had the channel. So this is the one that earlier this winter I blasted it and coated it with black Duracoat, and just feeling it and having messed with stuff that was rattle canned, this is going to hold up much better. The question is going to be, can I get graphics to adhere to it? But as you can see, we got blue and black, so there may be, I haven't really decided what direction I'm going to go with this bike yet. I'm thinking of a black, gold, and blue theme, And Elusive Graphics have been doing a fantastic job for me for my Supercross Futures bike on my 450. Really impressed with their stuff. I'm gonna try and get with them and see what kind of a graphics thing we can come up with based on the blue and the black plastic. So, this is something I'm particularly tickled about. This is a 2020 or 2019 swing arm off of YZ300. And I'll just be straight with you, I got this for 200 bucks. Don't ask me how. Somebody was willing to part with it. I paid the money and they shipped it and it arrived exactly what they said it would be. So it came with the linkage, which I wasn't expecting, the pivot bolt and the axle. So I might replace some of that with titanium, but we're just gonna see what the next couple months brings. So all that being said, the rear shock is off an 07 YZ300. I'm gonna take a crack at tearing this thing down myself, blasting it, coating it, and then putting it back together. The only thing I think I might have to have someone do is charge it with nitrogen. And luckily in the next couple months, I should be Houston, Texas bound, where I'll have a little more resources locally to collaborate with. So that thing, it might be roach. I don't even know if it has oil in it. It doesn't sound like it, and it's kind of dirty, typical. Got a decent radiator. I was really surprised to find this on eBay. It's got two sections here that you can see are a little folded up, but ICW over in North Carolina or South Carolina, either way, in the Carolinas, does a fantastic job of taking these, straightening them, and bracing them, and they come back looking like they could stand up to whatever I could put them through. So right now we just have the fill side. I gotta go out and source a left side and figure out what I'm gonna do about hoses and stuff like that. And that pretty much is it. Let's talk a little bit about some of the other odds and ends. There's no foot pegs on this, which doesn't break my heart in the least, because I just bought a set of Raptor titanium pegs for my CRF 450, and it's a night and day difference. I mean, it gives you a whole lot more incentive not to let go of the bike and let it chase you down and land on you. But as far as riding goes, I can't think of a better foot peg out there that I've ever ridden on now that I've went to the Raptors. And they are razor sharp, look like a bear trap. Anyhow, another thing I did with the CRF that I really like is I put a Recluse torque drive manual clutch in it. And as you can see, there's a clutch cover here that's actually in pretty darn good shape. I think I'm gonna blast that, coat it, and it's gonna be one of my giveaways once this build gets going. So what I'm hoping to do is put a Recluse torque drive manual in this bike and get the same feel that I'm getting out of the CRF 450, because that bike jumps out of corners, but it doesn't jump so hard that it throws you off the back of it and screws your riding position up. Not saying that I don't screw up my riding position every so often, but that makes it easier. So that's the internals for the YZ350's engine. I think I may have it have the crank balanced and rebuilt by Tom Morgan, because he just did the head and cylinder on my 125 that I'm going to run this weekend in the 125 BC class in Arlington. And I haven't even gotten to ride it, sadly. The weather has not cooperated here. It snowed on us 3 weeks ago. It rained on us ever since then, and it's just been downright unpleasant. So I will not miss this place in the least. That being said, back to the Tom Morgan stuff, I'm going to have him rebuild and balance the crank. And I may also look into Millennium Technologies M-Spec cylinder, which to my understanding is the same company. So bars, controls, I just bought a set of Renthal IntelliLevers for the CRF. I haven't ridden with them yet. I like the look of them. I like the price point. I might go with that on this. I might go with something different altogether, like Sunline, or it just kind of depends. So drop anything you guys want to share with me in the comments below, or find me on Instagram. My personal is at garage678 at garage_678. Sorry about that. Corporatemoto is pretty easy. It's at Corporatemoto. Reach out to me either in the comments below, on Instagram. You could probably find me on Facebook, or email me. You can email me at corporatemoto@gmail.com. And yeah, I'm open to all suggestions. If anyone's run the new rental fat bar, that's supposed to be the lightest bar on the market, let me know what you think of it, and if you recommend it for this build, and I'll see if I can't find a venue for sourcing those. Now, I also mentioned in my post yesterday that I would tie this whole adventure back to what I do day to day. And day to day, I am a supply chain representative. So basically for the industry I'm in and the company I work for, I go out and search for pipes, valves, and fittings, and source them from partnered vendors, new vendors, and oftentimes we even look into new products. So it crosses over well with these bike builds. Like I said, I was lucky enough to find these forks. They're in pretty darn good shape. There's no nicks in the lowers. The uppers are in pretty good shape. I'm gonna blast them and coat them as well. And I'm probably gonna set this up as a super stiff outdoor set of suspension that I could ride on Supercross if I ever decide to go down that road again. So all that being said, you might have noticed this other cover sitting here. I guess there's a crack in this one that's currently on it. So the guy I've been working with that had this recommended we get another one. So I'm gonna blast both of them, I'm gonna coat both of them and see if I can't get somebody to weld that, probably before I coat it. And yeah, I'm also going to blast and coat the hubs, rebuild the wheels like I said, and we're pretty much just gonna see how nasty we can make this build, because I've gotten a lot of positive feedback on the 125s that I've done in the past, and the only 252 stroke I ever did was an 02 CR250 when I lived back home in Pennsylvania. And granted, I was just getting into bike building. I didn't really take my time because I didn't really have the time or the resources to do it, and yeah, it just left a lot to be desired as far as the 252 stroke goes. The YZ300, the 5 minutes I got to ride one, I was extremely impressed and thought, once I got into this building thing, I think I can make this better. I can obviously make it look aesthetically better, in my opinion. Maybe I can make it run even better. So keep up with the channel. Depending on how Supercross Futures goes, we'll definitely have an episode next week showing the highlights from the weekend. It's probably going to be lengthy. I might split into a couple episodes so you guys don't get bogged down sitting there going through 20 minutes of video. Also, I'm going to cut a section out of my last video that shows F45 training, which is what I do to keep myself physically in shape off the bike. And I'm going to do a separate segment on that. That way, anybody that maybe got sidetracked, didn't watch all the way through the last video, can circle back and see specifically what I endure or put myself through every morning at 5 a.m. most days. So, yep, stay tuned for all that. Like I said, reach out to me on social media, email, Instagram, or right here on YouTube. Let me know what you all think. If you have any suggestions, drop them in the comments below. Have a good weekend, guys, and hopefully I'll see you all in one piece on Monday.